You know how sometimes you run into an idea that just seems like a total contradiction? Well, today we're going to jump back to the 7th century to see how some early Christian thinkers wrestled with the biggest, most baffling puzzles of their faith. And what's cool is, their methods might just teach us something about solving problems today. So let's just dive right in with a quote that'll stop you in your tracks. The laws of nature are abolished. I mean, that sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Not theology. But this one sentence, this powerful little phrase, is actually our key to unlocking a totally different way of looking at the world. So here's our game plan. We're going to unpack this by tackling 4 interconnected puzzles. We'll start with a divine identity crisis, then figure out what it really means to abolish nature's laws, look at the search for what was lost, and finally, get a wild new perspective on the cross as a symbol of cosmic government. So let's get into that first piece of the puzzle. Okay, our first puzzle is this massive divine identity crisis that, believe me, sparked some seriously intense debates in the early church. And at its core is a question that seems, well, impossible. How can one single person have 2 natures that are complete opposites? Think about it. On one hand, you have language describing a divine, eternal, all-powerful being. But on the other hand, you have a human who's born, who suffers, and who dies. For these early theologians, this wasn't just some fun philosophical game. If you got it wrong, if you mixed up the attributes carelessly, you were headed straight for heresy. It was a huge deal. The key that unlocks this whole thing is a single Greek word, hypostasis. Now, it's a deep term, but for what we're doing, just think of it as meaning a complete individual person. The entire solution hangs on this one idea. Christ is one single person, one hypostasis. And here's the solution. And honestly, it's pretty brilliant. It all comes down to your perspective. It's like looking at a stained glass window. From far away, you see one beautiful, complete image. That's the single person of Christ. In that view, all the colors, all the shapes, they belong to the whole picture. But if you walk right up to it to analyze how it was made, you'd mentally separate the blue glass from the red. You wouldn't say the blue glass is red. It's the same idea here. When you analyze Christ's 2 natures in your mind, you have to keep their unique properties separate. So, you see, the contradiction was never really there. It was all in how people were describing it. By just making it clear which perspective you're using, the whole puzzle just dissolves. And this idea, resolving a paradox by shifting your framework, is a theme we're going to see again as we move on. And that brings us right back to that wild quote from the beginning. What in the world does it mean to abolish the laws of nature? Well, as we've already seen, these thinkers love to play with perspective. And here, they're not talking about physics. They're talking about biology, about the very nature of existence itself. So from this point of view, the laws of nature weren't things like gravity. They were the broken rules of a fallen world. This meant a cycle of birth and death that was tainted by corruption and what the text so colorfully calls the servile uprising of the passions. These were the laws that needed to be abolished. So what was the answer? Well, it was an event that completely bypassed this broken system, the virgin birth. By being a conception, pure of any seed, and a birth completely untouched by corruption, it was a radical break from the old rules. It was like a system reboot, introducing a brand new, uncorrupted starting point for humanity. And the goal of this abolition wasn't just about destruction, it was about creation. By breaking that cycle of corruption, a new path was opened up for humanity to be restored. And this restoration would let them follow a new path of incorruptibility and, as the text puts it, fill the world above, which was a way of saying they could restore a cosmic order that had been messed up. This whole idea of restoration is totally central to our third puzzle. To explain it, the author uses 3 really powerful metaphors, and each one shows a different side of what it means for humanity to be lost and how it can be found. These 3 metaphors together paint such a rich picture. We're like a lost sheep, valuable, but, we tend to wander off. We're like a silver coin, stamped with a royal image, but now it's all tarnished and lost in the dirt. And we're like the prodigal son, born to inherit everything, but choosing to live in filth. Each one highlights something different about our value and our need for rescue. But here's the common thread, the really crucial part in all 3 stories. Humanity doesn't do anything. The sheep is found, the coin is recovered, the son is welcomed back. In every single case, it's divine action that seeks out and restores what was lost. This whole act is seen as filling a cosmic void, fixing the balance of the universe. All right, for our final puzzle, we're going to take a symbol we all think we know, the cross, and we're going to see it in a completely new light. Not just as an instrument of torture, but as a symbol of cosmic government. It all starts with this prophecy from the book of Isaiah, which the author connects directly to Christ carrying the cross on his shoulder. In this view, that act is the literal fulfillment of this prophecy about a ruler whose government is right there on his shoulder. And get this, the symbolism extends to the very shape of the cross. The vertical beam represents the divine. It's eternal, unchanging, powerful. The horizontal beam, that's all of creation, with its beginnings and its ends, completely held up and sustained by that divine power. It's like the entire cosmos is mapped onto this one simple shape. Then the author makes this powerful analogy. Just like a Roman governor would carry an insignia, like a sword or some special document that proved his authority came straight from the emperor, Christ carries the cross on his shoulder as the ultimate insignia of his own government. And here's the incredible paradox. The cross is a symbol of his humanity and his suffering, right? Yet, by carrying it, it becomes the ultimate symbol of his divine rule. It's the badge of his authority, showing that his greatest power was revealed in his moment of greatest weakness. Absolutely mind-blowing. So this ancient way of solving problems, shifting your perspective, redefining your terms, looking for symbolic meaning, it's a pretty powerful toolkit. So maybe the next time you face what feels like an impossible contradiction in your own life, you can ask yourself, am I looking at this from the right angle? Is there a deeper story here? What puzzles could you unlock by thinking like a 7th century sage?